Welcome to AI Role Models, a podcast from One Strategy Studio that goes beyond the hype to explore how real leaders are transforming their businesses with artificial intelligence. In each episode, I'll sit down with pioneers from the world's leading brands who are reimagining marketing, insights, and innovation with AI. But we're not here to talk about theoretical possibilities. These are candid conversations about the real challenges, unexpected victories, and practical lessons learned from implementing AI in organizations. Here's today's episode.
Hello, everybody, and we are here for another exciting episode of AI Heroes by One Strategy Studio. I'm your host, Dave Carruthers, and I am delighted to be joined by Didem Molay Sevin. Didem has over 20 years experience working at companies like Unilever, Diageo. Didem, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave, for having me today. It was great to be here.
100%. So, Jeremy, you're currently in a role at Unilever Food Solutions, working across kind of marketing. Can you tell us a little bit more about kind of your role at Unilever and what you focus on?
Sure. First of all, as you've just mentioned, I think it's been quite a long journey in my whole marketing career. So currently, I'm leading marketing for the GMEA region. The GMEA region means the Greater Middle East and Africa, and I look after 5 countries, which is Turkey, Arabia, Egypt, South Africa, and Pakistan. Unilever Food Solutions is the B2B brand of Unilever, which means that we target restaurants, hotels, and like caterings. So it's not like our target group is the end user, but it's basically the businesses. That's what my whole like what I'm doing the past 4 years. But before that, I can say that I had the privilege to work with marketing, like market leading FMCG brands, like you have mentioned, Diageo, and there's another market leading brand in Turkey, which is called Ülker. They're also the owners of Godiva chocolates. So it's been quite a journey, I would say.
Yeah, fantastic. So obviously everything over the last few years has been kind of impacted by the rise of AI and kind of we're going for a huge transformation kind of as an industry. Tell us a little bit about kind of where was the first moment kind of AI kind of appeared on your radar as a marketing leader, and kind of what was your initial reaction to your first kind of exposure to that?
Yeah, first of all, I can just say that it's a whole new world because when I first started 18 years ago, there was only websites and then Facebook. We really just developing apps for Facebook,
Hmm.
and it was more about like gut feeling, creativity, like brainstorming, like storytelling. But as I said, it was just like digital marketing. It was very new. But fast forward to today, it's like a whole new world, and now we're using the creativity, but now we need to blend it with data and technology. It's very different. But to be very honest, the first time AI really landed on my radar was as a marketing leader. It wasn't a big boardroom or like through some official Unilever pilots or anything. It
Hmm.
was actually much more like a personal experience, and it was more hands-on. So I remember it was like exactly 2 years ago when I was working on my own Instagram post for on my own account, and then I wanted to caption, and I actually wanted to be a little bit like catchy and engaging. So I said, why don't I try ChatGPT? So I thought, okay, let's try. And then I started, crafting my caption of my Instagram post with ChatGPT. And
Hmm.
actually, the result was like so much better than what I would have come up with my own words, and it sounded just like me. So it was really creative. And but the real surprise was, when I posted it, the engagement on that was like really higher than what I always have. So it was like more comments, more likes, and if even a lot of more people messaging to me say, how much what they have loved what I have written. So that was I was like, okay, That was my aha moment. I said, okay, this is not something like a tool that I use later, but it's like actually something that I can have it in my daily life. So then it made me actually curious about how these tools could not just help me with my social media, but okay, what can I do with all the available tools of AI, and how can I use them in my whole, marketing experience? So that was back then, like 2 years from, and
Hmm.
since then, again, many things have changed.
They certainly have. I mean, it's almost overwhelming the speed at which the space is moving at. Obviously, we saw just this week OpenAI announced the agent framework and agent builder, allowing you to connect a whole bunch of tools. That's going to reshape the landscape again. We're also seeing, a lot more connectivity between kind of our AIs now. I guess what's been your kind of over the last couple of years, how are you seeing kind of AI transforming kind of the approach to marketing within a company like Unilever? And maybe touch on more, obviously you're focused a bit more on the B2B side of the business, and I'm sure maybe the consumer side of the business is finding more exposure to it. But I'm really curious about the AI impact, particularly on the B2B side.
Yeah, I mean, it has really truly revolutionized the way that we approach marketing, and especially what we have done with One Studio strategy. It really showed me how things can change on how we focus on consumer or like customer insights. So that's how what we have focused on, especially in what I'm doing at Unilever Food Solutions. So I mean, especially if I just like look back at just a few years ago. So much of work of what we were doing, it was all relied on the traditional research cycles, manual data crunching. But now, I mean, I'm always looking for an AI tool that can help me to speed up the research process and to understand our customers and make decisions. So that's also how I use the One Studio AI actually. Not I don't want to say the tool, because there's it's not only that tool, it's like that whole strategic
Hmm.
tool plus the human touch that you guys are doing. So I mean, I can say that that was like the most exciting changes that has been speed and the depth of the insights we can access. So for example, what we have done in our B2B world with the AI, with One Studio strategy, is that instead of spending weeks and weeks on the research, we use let's say the One AI strategy, and also we had all these like 164 documents of research. We used
Hmm.
the tool to combine them. So, and my struggle was actually to define the innovation spaces. So, what really my customers want, and what's the real pain points of the chefs. So, but and the other thing that I was actually a real eye opener was that, um, so instead of doing like innovations on a country based level, I do want to do regional ones because we need to go for bigger innovations. But I just
Hmm.
didn't know how. So combining all these researchers in the countries, coming up with solid four spaces of innovations, and then creating those ideas under those, it was like a very, I think no one has done it before, especially in B2B. So yeah, it's much easier to get data for an end user, but this has also proven me that the way we have iterated it, it was also um, I mean, I have validated the results with the real chefs afterwards, right? And it was all
Hmm.
validated, the needs, the spaces. So this is how I used actually the whole the AI.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I think, as you say, I think a lot of people focused in this world of AI about the efficiency side of things and the speed. And I think what that often misses is the core benefit of the speed and efficiency is not that things can necessarily be just done faster. It's what time does that free up for both, yourself, the strategists that you're working with, to really think more deeply about the business problem, to really be a lot more critical of the results rather than
Mm.
spending all of that time kind of doing the work. I'm curious where you see kind of AI's most kind of impact across things like maybe like the campaign side of marketing and kind of the ad side of things.
Uh, can you repeat the question? You said the
Yeah,
campaign
sorry.
side.
Yeah, like so from a like what are you seeing in terms of AI's impact on kind of marketing, campaign execution, kind of advertising strategy? Is there anything that you're seeing with your colleagues across the marketing team there that's been interesting to you?
Actually, yes, because we also have another AI tool that we use. So what we did was, so we have used the AI to test. First of all, we tested two visuals, and
Hmm.
then with that visuals, so we used an AI created version and an internal agency created version of it. So and now we have seen with the AI created version when we have created the campaign with the AI. Actually, the digital assets were much more improved, and just like linking it back with my own Instagram caption, I can say
Yep.
that the engagement levels were very high. So, I mean, but on the other hand, this is like very limited because, as I said, we are B2B. That's why we don't have much end user campaigns. We don't do that much. But so that's why I just don't have much examples on that. But again, I'm saying so we just use one or two, I think it was like product campaigns that was like, again, targeting chefs.
Yep.
So that's it.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I guess when you think about, obviously Unilever, huge multinational global organization, kind of implementing these types of tools across a big company like that. Unilever's always been thought of as very kind of forward thinking and is always kind of been on the cutting edge of particularly kind of consumer insights. I guess what have you seen as the kind of framework you've seen the company adopt with regards to tools? Are you different pockets testing different things? Is there a more core strategy? Tell us a little bit about how you've seen kind of AI been adopted.
So, I mean, first of all, I can see that the role of marketeers has changed with this new adaptation. So it became like, we are not really creative campaign managers. So we are more
Hmm.
like strategists. So all the, functions need to come together. So, we used to work in more silos. So like CMI,
Yep.
our like research department used to do research, and then we used to take the results. But now, I mean, it has changed. So I think instead of working on more silos, so now we started that. Also, the whole adaptation of the new AI um, made us work more in like more agile ways, right? So it's instead of working on different silos, we became one team. So I think that was one of the biggest, changes that we had to adapt instead of having like different functions. So now we're all together. So my CMI is with me. Even sometimes ask my like IT team to be with me, to really
Hmm.
understand. So and also like marketing, even like, it's just like now a whole combination of all the, functions, which is a different change for us, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. So thinking about, obviously, you've seen it reduce silos, you've seen kind of more collaboration cross-functionally. We've talked a bit about the efficiency. So a lot of
Mhm.
those things, so all of those things I would say would be considered kind of positive impacts and benefits of using AI. Let's kind of, like not everything's perfect. Rather than just focus on the positive, what are some of the maybe challenges you've seen that AI has introduced into existing workflows, processes, or just things where you feel maybe it's not quite ready yet, or kind of there's some doubt across the organization, maybe with different stakeholders. Yeah, would love to, like, we don't like to focus just on the positives. Like, what have been some of the challenges or gotcha moments?
Yeah, so first of all, not everyone is ready for this whole new speed, right? So the
Hmm.
adaptation coefficient of everyone is different. So each function. So,
Yep.
like, when you present the results and then you say, okay, this is, for example, I have used the new sizing tool that you have, and then it looks like whatever I have as a result, it's really not like what I have tried to do with the traditional method. So I
Yep.
am having hard time to convince my sales team. So with the new sizing tool that you have, it looks like one of the products is the highest selling, but then our my sales team is telling me no, it's not. So I think first of all, everyone is not that agile. So that was one of the
Yep.
disadvantages I can say, and also some people just like use the results has just like as just like end results, but they are not.
Mm.
I mean, I use this whole process just to speed up what I have been losing a lot of time with traditional research, and also I use it as like to combine all the data that I have. I can't do that with any of them, but it doesn't. Some people, when they look at the whole, like let's say the results of what I get from the AI tools test, they see it as an end result. No, so that's also a little bit a change, a behavior change. So I use it as a beginning to guide me. So I think that mindset change, because some people are just like taking it as it is, because that was how it was with the
Yep.
traditional research. So we see the
Mm.
research, we say that, okay, this is the end result. We believe in that one. But here, again, this guides me. So
Yep.
those are the different, challenges that I have faced. So it's hard to challenge, also hard to convince my stakeholders. But I think they do get used to it. That's what I am seeing now that they're asking me, why don't we ask or like see if there's another AI tool that's available to solve this problem? So that shows me that they're adapting also.
Yeah, teams are definitely adapting to it, and I agree wholeheartedly about not everybody is on that same trajectory in terms of like how comfortable they are with this. I think, as you say, the biggest impact is that change of cycle speed, and how iterative
Yeah.
things are, and not everybody is ready to come on that journey, particularly in a larger organization where you've got a lot of stakeholders involved in any kind of decision. People are kind of used to the traditional cadence of the business, how things have always been run. I'm curious, kind of how um, kind of teams are being kind of prepared or trained or educated for this evolution. I think kind of companies across the globe are kind of trying to figure out how they skill up their teams, how they introduce AI. I mean, as you say, it's changing everything. But what have you seen in terms of an approach to both the training and preparation you've had for this kind of change, and then also how you're helping your team with this as a leader?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't believe that there is only one single training that fits to the whole new change, right? So
Mm.
there's because every tool, for example, has a different purpose. So
Yep.
what I tell my teams is that first of all, don't be scared to fail, and also I keep stretching them. I'm like, okay, and by the way, I do this with my whole CMI team, the consumer market insight team, because they're still the backbone of what we turn data into actionable insights. So I have been I have been working them very closely, but now it's been a different way of working with them. So it's not like I brief them and then I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the results. No, so I'm saying, okay, let's all figure out what is available out there for our purpose. For example, the synthetic personas
Mm.
formed by AI. It's like something that now I'm trying to understand. So I think I would say the way I train my team is not like, okay, go online, get an AI training. I seriously don't believe in
Mm.
that. It's just like, let's listen to that agency. Let's try to use this tool. The more you're familiar with what's out there, I think the more it makes you comfortable to work with. So, like 2 years ago, I'm telling you, I was just like trying to see how ChatGPT
Hmm.
works. Now I don't even look at it. Yeah. But so, by the way, our company like Unilever is also very eager and to have all the AI implemented in what we do. So for example, I mean, yes, we are using Copilot, but Copilot is seriously in most of the things that we're doing. So just like basically, but just what I tell my team is that, keep trying, don't be scared to fail, just get familiar, meet with all these agencies that are out there selling their
Yep.
tools. Just listen because everyone has a different proposition. So that's what I do and tell my team
Yeah, I feel
actually.
that's critical, like getting exposure to the variety of tools, services that are out there. There's so many people doing cool and interesting stuff. Obviously, there's some of those things you'll be like, wow, that's super interesting. Others you'll be like, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But just seeing the art of the possible, seeing what solutions are out there, understanding, okay, how would this and this connect? How would maybe this solve this business challenge? And then, yeah, the other thing, and I think we hear it a lot on this show, is leaders creating space for their teams to fail. I think historically, like a lot of our work within a corporate environment, larger corporate environments, has been, everything has to be right, everything has to be done correctly. It's great to see
Yeah.
kind of even larger.
And you know what?
Sorry, I'm gone.
I'll add one more thing. I just want to add one more thing here. I think because of the region that I am in, the Middle East region is like such a dynamic
Yep.
region. So it makes things more interesting, actually. So, I mean, the digital adaptation is happening at a lightning speed, like where Arabia and like, how Saudi is attractive, but every market has its own
Hmm.
culture and needs. So, and I work in this whole volatile, dynamic environment. So, I mean, not like a stable environment as Europe. So, this is, and also, most of the startups are around here. So, I think that also gives me that, let's say, confidence to keep trying and failing because, as I said, there's not one model that fits in my region because of how
Yep.
dynamic it is. That's why I think I combine the whole cultural changes, the dynamic, how dynamic my region is with what's out there with AI. So that's why I think it makes it a perfect place to try and fail at this
Yeah,
stage.
you talk about the region, to kind of Dubai, the Middle East, a lot of startups kind of coming out of there, a lot of interest in new tech. Is there anything that kind of comes to mind, or any company you want to give a shout out to that you've seen something kind of and been like, oh wow, that's super cool.
First of all, I mean, what I have done with One Studio strategy is it's amazing. Like seriously, every time when I see that there's an update, I do want to
Yeah.
try it. The sizing tool, the updated one, I have just tried it. I have seen the results. It's amazing. I can't believe that, I had put those products in a funnel and then I have tested it with the sizing tool. Oh my God, whatever I put in there, it's like highly indexed. One thing. The other thing was actually, in my B2B environment, it's so hard to get chefs to answer the
Yep.
questions. So I mean, I can't have very much like in-depth
Yeah.
groups here, and also I don't have much data available. But the synthetic personas, it's quite interesting. Also, there's another agency. Again, mostly whatever out there is either acquired by a big agency that we work with. So there's another agency that I just talked to. It's just like, like what actually One Studio Strategy is doing, creating
Yep.
concepts and also like testing those concepts. So these are very great, for me. So I don't have one specific name, but I think they're all different areas that the tools are focusing on. But seriously, in a world where I don't have much data and understanding, and it's so hard to get chefs
Yep.
understanding because it's not like, retailers. So all these agencies do help me, all these new tools help me on to understand my target
Yeah,
audience.
the synthetic data side of things is fascinating, particularly when you've got a super, hard to reach audience like chefs that work on sociable hours. It's difficult to get to, things like that. What's
Yeah.
been, I guess, the feedback from colleagues and the team around this concept? Because the concept of synthetic respondents is really a kind of curious one. I mean, obviously you've got feels like one that are looking more at like what data is out there and kind of looking at sources and combining existing data. But the idea of creating a persona or a synthetic respondent, or having these respondents take a synthetic survey, yeah, what have you seen pushback from the business? Have you seen colleagues that are skeptical about it right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be very honest and transparent. I mean, I'm always, as I said, like eager to try new things. I've also tried this, but first of all, I'm still
Mm,
skeptical. So I'm not using it anyways to see, take even a direction. Because again, yes, it's a very good idea, but I think it needs much more training on the
mm,
tool because we really need to understand, go deep dive the needs and the pain points of the chefs, right? So whatever I get as a response from the synthetic personas for now, it's still on a very high level. And the other thing is, they are asking me to segment the
hmm.
customers there, but I need to do a research and then segment that customer and then give it to the synthetic persona. But I mean, that means again, I need to do a traditional research. So that doesn't really help me. But whatever I need speed. So that's why I'm still a little bit skeptical on this. I don't think I can use them for now for a very deep
Yep.
understanding purpose. But just for general, I know that our global team has used just for for our future minute trends report. So it's basically a little bit on regular understanding of the trends, what's going on in gastronomy, in different channels. That's okay. But again, I still could not see that depth understanding with these personas. So I am skeptical about that. So
Yeah.
for now, but it's amazing to see. And I'm sure it's going to come
Yeah,
soon.
I mean, I think that's the key thing, isn't it? It's gonna come soon. If we look at kind of where some of these
Yeah.
tools were 2 years ago to where they are now, I mean, it feels like every week, every month, there's like substantial breakthroughs, and I think that's been hard for people to kind of get their head around. We're so used to technology moving at a certain space. I mean, when I first came into the industry, I looked at the how long it took people to transition from, online, paper and pen surveys to online surveys to this idea that people were doing surveys on their mobile phone. That was something that took kind of years of, across a couple of decades really for it to come mainstream. So, the speed at which things are moving is definitely kind of harder for people to deal with. Um, you talked a lot about kind of that experimentation mindset, creating space for the team to try things. Some things are going to work, some things are going to fail. Hopefully there's like learnings from each and exposure. When you think about measuring the impact of kind of the AI thing, outside of speed, how are you thinking about kind of looking at measurable impact, or thinking about kind of being able to demonstrate to senior leadership the impact that this is having on the business?
I mean, aside from time, I think it's like cost because I can't do a research that covers 5 countries and deeply understanding
Yep.
their needs and have that clear output of the innovation spaces. If I do that, I need to minimum go to, let's say, like totally 100 chefs in each country, like
Mhm.
500, right? And it's like doing that on a traditional method, it's too expensive. So it's not only time, but plus it's cost actually. So I can just say time and cost
Yeah, the
savings.
ability to take those budgets and go further and be able to do more. I think that's what is being unlocked for a lot of people. I guess looking forward and kind of looking towards the future, where do you see the biggest opportunities for AI over the next kind of 12 to 24 months, particularly in the CPG, FMCG category, and for example, for B2B as well?
I mean, you know what? That's I don't think I can predict this, but it's like looking ahead. Very like excited what AI can do. So if I say that I see the future in, let's say, synthetic personas, I think I would lie. So probably 3 months later, there's gonna be another tool that we can't think about that's gonna do. But you know what? I was feeling like the whole FMCG was going so traditional, with the campaigns, with what understanding. Now it's totally moving at another speed with this. So, like analysis, maybe like all those like hyper personalized experiences. I think the possibilities are really, really endless. So, but I mean, that's why I mean, I my only advice to all the marketing leaders is just it's very simple. I think just keep trying, start small, learn fast, and I don't really believe that there's not gonna be a need for the marketeers anymore, because AI is gonna replace. No, we are always important because a human touch is always there. Because anyways, we are the ones who's teaching,
Hmm.
right, the tool to be much better. So just I would say, as long as we keep our customers, our target groups at the center of our strategy, I think just go with the flow, and then the just pace of the change is only just like it's going to pick up more and more, I think. So that's what I can say.
Yeah, 100%. It's AI is augmenting teams. I think, as you say, go with the flow, be willing to experiment, be willing to test and learn. Think the big takeaway from me was take that meeting, I mean, listen to what everybody's got to say. There's no the kind of winners and losers have yet to be defined in this category yet. Everybody's got a unique insight and a perspective, and teams can learn a lot by just getting to exposure and seeing some of these tools and services work. This has been a fantastic episode. It's been so great to have you on the show. Really appreciate you spending some time with us today. Obviously, if any listeners want to connect with Didem, she's on LinkedIn. You can find her nice and easily. And yeah, Didem, thank you very much for being a guest here on AI Heroes.
Thank you very much. I just want to end by just talking about my philosophy that I adapt in my life and in my business life. Maybe it could be an inspiration for everyone.
Awesome.
So um, yeah, I always say, adapt the philosophy of Vujade. Vujade is the opposite of deja vu. Deja vu is like we feel like we have lived the same moment
Hmm.
before, but Vujade is just the opposite way. That's what I do. So, I mean, if you have a problem that you want to solve in your business, just don't keep looking at it in the same way. Just adapt, try to solve it in other ways. And I think these AI tools that's around us is the perfect way to look at your problems, your business problems, in another way. So I'm just saying, everyone adapt Vujade.
Absolutely love that. So you heard it here first. Everybody adapt Wuja Day. Love that. Diram, thank you so much for being a guest. Until next time,
Thank
we'll
you.